Hey guys, welcome to the Manhattan Project. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my #1 pro tip to increase your MMR at Dota 2. So this pro tip is going to be geared toward veteran players who really have kind of hit that middle ground. Maybe they've hit a sticking point or a plateau at their MMR and are looking for a way that they can both increase their MMR and their skill as a Dota player. Through practice and my utilization of this tip, I've been able to increase my MMR by over 1,000 points in just about 3 months. While this number might not be super substantial to some of you guys, I probably played the least amount of games I've ever played, and I've still had the largest jump in my MMR because of this. So the #1 piece of advice that I can give out to anybody, whether they're looking to increase their MMR or looking to go pro as a Dota player, is to increase their farm efficiency. I highly recommend that the next time you watch a professional game of Dota 2, you look at the standards set by professional cores by the 10, 20, and 40 minute mark. The average score at around 10 minutes is about 50 creeps. However, even in the most difficult lanes, you don't often see professionals dipping below 30 to 35. If you were to take your average Dota 2 player, however, and put them into the same type of laning situation where it's a very rough experience, you'd have very different results. The biggest thing that I've noticed since I've started watching my own replays in an effort to get better is that I really suck at farming. Even though I'm at the 4K MMR range, I still feel that I have plenty of room to improve, as my farming potential is nowhere near where it needs to be. Sometimes in even relatively simple lanes where I'm maybe 2v1 against an offlaner or 1v1, I'll still only end up with 40 to 50 CS. Well, that's around the average. That's only average. It's not good. And it's nowhere near where you want to be if you're trying to become a professional Dota player. The first thing I did to start to fix this problem was to begin to watch my replays of carry games. I noticed a few mistakes after watching a couple of games that I really want to give to you guys, and that I think could really help you guys get better at Dota. So the first thing that I noticed was that I did too much static farming. Regardless of whether there was an enemy hero in my lane or not, I pretty much left the lane at the same spot the entire time. The biggest mistake about this was that I never applied any pressure on the enemy team. While they were off doing their own thing against the rest of my 4 allies, all I was doing was getting a slight gold advantage for myself, and I wasn't doing anything to help out my team. So the first thing that you guys can do to combat this is to understand siege creep timings. Starting at the 3 minute mark and spawning every 7 waves after, siege creeps or siege wagons offer a huge increase to the DPS that your creep wave is able to do on the enemy tower. What this means is that in order to utilize the high amount of DPS from the siege creep, you need to pull the wave that spawns at the 6 minute mark into the spawn camp in order to double push the wave. By doing this, you end up putting way more pressure on the enemies by taking out an early tower. It also frees up the map and gives your team a pretty early gold advantage. All these things are fantastic to do considering that you're one hero and that you're able to create that much space just by doing something very simple for your 4 other teammates. For my second tip on how to increase your farm efficiency, I want to focus in on items. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Quelling Blade and the Battle Fury. The Quelling Blade is an item that I think you should 100% always pick up if you're playing a melee carry. It's very inexpensive, and it pretty much pays for itself by being able to kill neutral camps faster and by being able to get you that extra last hit or two in lane. Building right off of this, the Battle Fury is an item that I think is very useful, but it's very situational on a carry hero. This item has a very long history of boosting your farming efficiency, and at one point its stats were considered so good that it was even picked up on ranged carries who don't get the extra cleave from it. So this item is obviously really good on heroes that have high amounts of mobility, such as Anti-Mage or PA in certain cases. It's also extremely good on Ember Spirit, as it allows him to hit even more targets due to his Sleight of Fist. Beyond that, however, it's very situational in pretty much any other circumstance, and I wouldn't recommend getting it unless your game is very passive and very farm oriented. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the standards that pros have. While these are really good for professional players, they sometimes aren't realistic for your average Dota player. However, I still think that these standards are extremely important. It's very important to set goals and to have practical experience in every facet of your life, including Dota. This is exactly what I'm going to recommend that you guys do. For example, I highly recommend that if you're watching this video, you go to dotabuff.com and you look up your personal stats. I'm not affiliated with them, but I think that they are a tremendous resource and that it's very important to know where you're coming from and see your progress over time. For instance, if you were to look at the stats on your carry games and see that you only average 25 last hits per match by the 10-minute mark, then I don't feel that the goal of 50 last hits per game is that unrealistic. However, it's going to take some time. And in between those 25 to 50 last hits, you should set goals for yourself. Set them at 30, 35, 40, 45, so on, until you hit that 50, and by that time you'll have become twice as good at farming as you were when you started. This is then going to lead to an absolute huge increase in your win percentage, and I guarantee you that you'll start winning anywhere from 5 to 10% more of your games. And as with all things, guys, I really recommend that you keep practicing and you just keep at it. As you progressively focus on something, you're bound to get better at it, and over time you will increase your MMR and you'll become a better player. Well guys, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel for additional content. Also be sure to like the video and give me some feedback down below in the comments. I also have some videos linked in the description box. Thanks for viewing and have a great day.